Hello friends, this is Jiasu Bakuhatsu, and welcome to Let's Play E.V.O, The Search for Eden. This is a neat little game for the Super Nintendo, published by Enix back in, I think, around about the 1993. And this is not exactly a game from my childhood. I think I rented this one once as a kid, and I didn't really care for it. It didn't make it very far into the game, but I gave it another shot years later, once I got into the whole Super Nintendo emulation thing on the PC, and I didn't really like the game that much that time around either. So why am I playing? And I've actually gone through the game a couple more times since then, and I don't know, it's a weird little game, this one. It's really interesting. It has a lot of really neat ideas, and a lot of kind of bad ideas and shoddy execution of a lot of the good ideas. So why am I Let's Playing this game? Well, it's an interesting little game, I'll give it that, and there's a lot of sort of interesting things to note and to talk about with it. So yeah, the whole premise with this is that, which is not really explained at all in the intro here, but basically, yeah, you're like this little fish person starting out at sort of like the dawn of life on Earth, and you basically get to go through like 46 million years of evolution trying to, I don't know, get with some naked blue-haired chick with like psychedelic background hair. I don't know, you'll see her in a second once we go to start a new game. So yeah, why the heck am I playing this game that I don't really like that much? Well, I don't exactly hate this game. It's certainly, yeah, there she is. It's not a great game, but I don't really hate it. It's hard to describe, and I guess we'll get into more of that. Oh yeah, I was like totally not exaggerating, by the way, when I sort of described the plot of this game. Literally the whole object of the game is to, yeah, go through 46 million years of evolution to prove to, I don't know, the sun or something that you're worthy of getting with his naked blue-haired chick daughter. I don't know, it's science apparently, that's how life is born in the universe. I don't know. There's not too much. There's sort of RPG elements in this game, but plot is not one of those elements. It's more about the sort of, experience points and the leveling up and the level grinding, especially. We'll get into the level grinding as we go into this. But, so yeah, basically we start out in the sea, and then sort of we eventually will learn to walk on land and become an amphibian and a reptile. And oh yeah, this jellyfish here is going to kind of give us a little tutorial. And yeah, this is pretty much all you need to, pretty much what the game's all about. Just, yeah, eat, gain points, kill everything, and yeah, level up your little fish man into sort of a spikier, deadlier fish. I don't know why I said fish man. He's not a man. Little fish thing. I don't know. And isn't he adorable? I think that's so. To get into kind of the good points of the game, it's certainly, yeah, really neat concept. A lot of interesting ideas, and just very lovely kind of production values too. I think it's just. Yeah, the cute little creatures you get to see, and there's like a whole bunch of different little critters we'll get to see throughout the game, and you've got your main little critter who will sort of get to evolve throughout the game, and he sort of grows like spikities and sharp teeth and sort of grows in size throughout the game, and it's just really neat in that regard. There's also some nice sprite work, some pretty decent music as well. I think there's actually a couple tracks in this game that I really like, which I come to think of it, I should probably put them on the. In fact, yeah, they'll probably be on the Great Music from Video Games playlist by the time this LP goes up. Oh dear. Okay. So combat. So as far as the way the game controls, it's quite simple. Basically, you can double tap to dash. And you've got, we don't have a jump yet, obviously, because we're in the water. So instead we just move up, down, left, right. And this is just a little tutorial on what evolving the different body parts does, which is sort of more general guidelines than sort of hard and fast rules. Like he's telling you, oh, the hands and feet is HP and defense or whatever, and it's like, that's true some of the time, but other times you'll have like special body parts that do something other than the norm. And that's kind of one of the problems with the game, is that a lot of the time when I haven't even gone into the evolution screen yet, actually. But basically, I kind of have at least the first couple of eras here, or really just the first era, and then the first mid-boss and the second era kind of planned out as far as the sort of optimizing the parts that I evolved, just to kind of get through these early bits of the game a bit faster. The early bits of the game, I think, are kind of the worst parts of the game. There's, like I mentioned, how there's going to be some sort of grinding experience points going on here, and there's a heck of a lot of that in the early game. And actually, okay, so at 200 EVO points, I believe that'll get us our Jaws upgrade, which is, so you might think, like, okay, we've got like the 200 point Jaws and the 800 point Jaws, why not just, keep farming up and just, get another 600 and go straight to the 800 point Jaws rather than wasting time with this intermediary. And but really that was sort of the approach that I took my first time through the game. I was actually kind of a smart kid, I figured, why bother wasting points on these body parts that I'm just gonna swap out later. But as it turns out, sort of in my even more clever adulthood, I realized that actually some of these will really accelerate. Oh yeah, this is special sort of crystals. So yeah, there's sort of different colors of crystals you can find throughout the game that do different things. Yellow ones are just shitty tutorial messages, basically, but these red ones are kind of neat. They'll basically evolve you into a specific kind of creature. And oh, we got the... what? We got the eel for some reason. Usually this is a manta ray. I don't know why we got the eel, but actually if you go into the Record of Evolution, and I just learned now that this actually keeps track of the animals you save throughout playthroughs, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, so that's the manta ray there that I saved from my last playthrough, and usually I forget to do this, but anyways. So basically later in the game, we'll be able to find some green crystals to sort of let you backtrack to previous forms that you've had, and I don't know, we'll call him Flotsam. Except I'm kind of too lazy to type all that out, so we'll just go with Flots. And so yeah, now we're an eel, and basically there's another type of crystal you can get. The green crystal is what lets you, sort of revert to a previous creature that you've saved into your Record of Evolution. And that's kind of basically the whole point of the red crystals, which is because they're kind of pointless otherwise. In fact, this evolution is quite temporary. I believe it'll be running out any second. So what I want to do with this is get as much quick farming out of it as I can. And what we want to do here is farm up 500 EVO points to get an angler's horn. So anyways, yeah, so since I saved that eel, we can transform back into that eel later in the game once we get a green crystal, which honestly I always forget that the crystals even exist. I think I almost never use them, and when I do find the new... And yeah, it's so... Yeah, it's basically, if you don't save those sort of special red crystal animal forms into your Record of Evolution, then they are really rather pointless. You you just kind of go around farming up as fast as you can, I guess, for about, I don't know, 40, 60 seconds maybe. Oh right, I forgot to evolve my angler's horn. So yeah, the basic flow of the game that you're probably kind of getting a sense of here is basically each area is comprised of just kind of a short little area of just a few screens typically that'll introduce, and each level will kind of introduce a new creature for you to basically chow down on and farm up EVO points on. And that's basically kind of all the game really is just moving from one kind of hunting or one farming ground to another. Speaking of which, so the reason why we farm up the angler's horn is basically to basically to get in to make use of this next farming ground, essentially, where these fish, if you don't have the angler's horn, then they'll run away from you as soon as they see you, and they're very fast and very hard to catch. So rather than evolving like several more hundreds or thousands of E.V.O points trying to evolve speed to catch them, we just get jaws so that we can knock them out in one hit, and angler's horn so that they'll sort of be attracted towards us rather than run away from us. And that's really, literally the whole point of the angler's horn. I would probably never have figured this out on my own. I actually had a little, what would they call it? It was the How to Win at Video Games books when I was a kid. I had How to Win at Genesis games and How to Win at Super Nintendo games. So it was just not even any pictures or anything, just like a big book full of just nothing but text with like tons and tons of games. And it was just like, it would be different from game to game. Some games, they'd in the books, they'd have like complete walkthroughs, just like, sort of brief summaries, go here, then go here, and they'd do like a complete walkthrough of like a game on like, a page and a half or something. Whereas other games, they just sort of have little pro tips. Oh shoot, I did not want to be back this far. So okay, and actually we're kind of on a time limit in here anyways. The fish all disappear and the volcanoes erupt, and actually I'm gonna die if I'm not careful about this. Oh, getting so much slow down. Okay, if we take one more hit, I can show off another trick here, where basically if you're low on HP, you can evolve pretty much anything. We'll say hands and feet, so we can, which are fins when you're a fish, apparently. Get ourselves a tackle fin, and that'll actually restore us back up to full HP. And that's a little trick you can use throughout the game is to just sort of, instead of evolving as soon as you get the points for something, you can kind of save them if you don't need the evolutions right away, and you can just sort of save them and use them for an HP boost during, say, like a boss fight or a difficult area or something. Oh yeah, and I mentioned how I was talking about sort of the level structure of the game, how every area is just, a few screens for you to chow down on like a new type of enemy. That was kind of a lie, I guess. There are also some levels that are mazes as well. So those are basically kind of the two types of levels in this game. And actually, can I take on these guys? Okay, nope, no, we can't. Let's not mess with those guys. But if I remember correctly, okay, we got a blue crystal, simplest kind of crystal. You just eat it and you get a bunch of E.V.O points. And so now we've got a lot of points to spend. What do we got? 1,200. What are we gonna get here? Basically, by the time we finish this off, we're gonna want pretty much the best of everything, other than the jaws, which are kind of unnecessary. Oh yeah, with that being said, the reason we're getting rocked so hard is because we got shitty defense. So shell body is a must, and I guess we can get something else worth 600 points. We are 20 away from a Kuralash tail. I think I want that, actually. That'll give us a lot of speed. Okay, so, anyways, I think I got sidetracked earlier. There was a few different methods of attack. Yeah, let's not deal with that guy. A few different methods of attack you have in this game that you've kind of seen me do. One of them is just biting enemies. Oh god, these things can be really nasty, especially if you don't have your sort of more heavily armored bodies evolved. Oh dear. Yeah, okay, now that we've got the shell body evolved, though, we're pretty decent as far as defense goes. There's not really anything in this area that's going to kill us, but our attack strength is a bit low, so we can't really farm up on anything. Anyway, so yeah, you can bite things, and the other mode of attack that you kind of see me use is you can dash into enemies, and this is actually kind of funny. When I rented the game back when I was a kid, and also, I guess, also when I played the game the first time through through emulation as well, I actually didn't know about the second attack, which is where you, when you're dashing, you can press the A button, and I think I mentioned, you just double tap to dash, and then while you're dashing, you can press the A button to kind of do a little tackle attack, which also kind of looks like he's biting them, but I think he's just giving out like a little, I don't know, battle cry, rebel yell, something like that. Well, he tackles them, and that's basically your two main forms of attack is your bite and your tackle, and then later on you'll be able to kick things with your legs once you become a land creature. Oh yeah, and you can jump on dudes as well, so I guess that's four main ways of attack. And also, you can also I guess it's kind of like a, I don't know what to call it, another version of tackling things, but you can also evolve horns, which are, I guess we've already evolved the horn, actually. We've got our Angler's Horn here, but the Angler's Horn is actually kind of an exception. Most horns, oh dear, oh, okay, so this gets into another thing about this game that I'm going to talk about for sure at some point. But anyways, Angler's Horn is a bit of a unique horn in that most horns, what they do is they're actually kind of a disposable attack item. It gives you the ability to charge into enemies head first, and you can do damage to them without having to press the A button and use your tackle. You can just like damage enemies by charging into them, and just by touching them with your horn while charging into them. Angler's Horn is the only horn that doesn't do that. And actually, yeah, horns are kind of a bad investment in general, since, like I said, they're disposable. If you use the horn to hit things too many times, it'll break, and too many times is not typically that many times. You'll charge into an enemy like 4 or 5 times or something, and it'll like break your frickin' horn. And especially later in the game, that's often like you'll end up killing like 2 enemies, and then your horn breaks, and then that's like, how much do these stupid horns cost? And then yeah, there's like 700, or even I think the most expensive horn in the game is like 5,000 E.V.O points, and it's like, and it still breaks just as easily as the other horns. So it's just really stupid. And again, it's kind of like, okay, they added a sort of a new way of attacking, I guess, something to spend your E.V.O points on, but it's kind of like weird implementation. There's just like, I don't know. It's like, what were they thinking with the horns? It's like, is that a thing like with wild animals? Do wild animals' horns like break off when they like poke something with it like 5 times? Why do they even have the thing still anymore? Even if they're like that useless. Oh, we've got some E.V.O points, speaking of evolution. We got, what have we got so far? I believe we did body, hands, and feet, and I think the tail. Or did we do the tail? We did not do the tail. I was planning to get the points for that, but I didn't actually end up spending them. I was just saying like, oh, 20 more points, and I didn't actually spend them. Would have gotten through the previous areas a bit faster. Okay, and there's the other thing with this game, is your character has basically 0 invincibility frames, or rather, so whenever you get a hit, you don't like get any invincibility whatsoever to sort of prevent you from being just like smacked to death and stun locked. Or specifically, you get like, your invincibility frames last exactly as long as your stun lock does, which means it's very, very easy to get stun locked by enemies in this game. And in fact, that little sort of pill bug thing that you've seen kind of chain bounce into me a bunch of times, if you don't have the shell body evolved, those things will do like 5 damage and kill you straight up in like 3 or 4 bounces, and it's just ridiculous. And there's a lot of that kind of ridiculous stuff in the game, especially with the bosses, which we haven't seen yet, but oh boy, we're in for a treat with those. Okay, actually we want a dorsal fin, I think. Actually, that'll increase our tackling ability. And yeah, so basically the thing with jaws in this game is that they're typically kind of the least useful. I mean, jaws are pretty strong. You can do a lot of damage with them a lot of the time, but it's generally comparable to the amount of damage you can do with the evolutions that give you tackle strength. So it's like you kind of want to pick one or the other. You either put your points into tackling stuff, or you put your points into jaws. The thing is, the body parts that give you tackling damage are also body parts that give you other things. Whereas, yeah, the tackle fin there increased my tackling damage and gave me, like, some mobility, and I think not some HP, but yeah, I think the tail gave me, like, HP and extra tackle damage. Same with the dorsal fin. So it's like, the tackle damage things are kind of like general body improvements that do other things, whereas the jaws are basically just good for nothing except attack strength. And I think there are some jaws that increase your tackle damage, but really only useful for attacking, basically, whereas the other body parts are like good for attack and defense. So, and oh god, speaking of attacking and defending, here we are. Why did I dash here? That was really stupid. I'm not going to be able to dodge this guy's opening attack. So okay, this guy's preventing the, I don't know, seaweed or the strolites or whatever from bringing oxygen to the land. So okay, barely. Okay, barely... almost got stun locked and killed there. This boss is actually not as bad as a lot of the later bosses. There's actually kind of a strategy. Oh yeah, and I was talking about how to win at video games before. So yeah, basically I got the Angler's Horn trick from How to Win at Video Games. That was one of the things they had written about E.V.O in that book. And my boss strategy for this boss is also something I got out of that book. Is where his dash attack, if he rams into the wall, then he gets stunned like that. And whoa, shit. Might be a good time for healing now. And in fact... actually, that's the one good thing that horns are good for, I think, is actually more so than their value as attack items. They're good for just quick mid-boss fight heals, because generally the cheapest horns tend to be quite cheap. In fact, let's just break this horn. And actually, when your horn breaks, you also get another full heal, because of that. Apparently, that counts as like an evolution, is just getting your horn broken off. Kind of the opposite of an evolution, or really nothing to do with evolution at all. Evolution isn't really something that happens to a single organism in the course of its lifespan. Or actually, why am I bothering with the jaws? Like I was saying, the tackle does more damage. I think overall, if you're really into as much attack damage as possible, I think that the jaws are generally stronger. Like, I think the best jaws in the undersea portion of the game do like 8 damage, whereas as you can see, our fully upgraded tackle does like 6. Actually, this guy's going to give us a lot of E.V.O points, so might as well evolve those jaws. At least give you guys an idea of what they look like. Actually, I think the swordfish horn is the one exception, actually, to the general rules about horns. I believe the swordfish horn is indestructible. Yeah, but no, we're going to get the Zenichti jaws. And there. And you're not going to get to see its attack damage, but I think it's like 8 or something. So that's nice to have, but it's super expensive. I think it's the most expensive thing you can get in this era, other than, I think... body size? Or no, body size is still cheap here. Oh, what the heck, let's increase our body size too, just for fun. Basically, yeah, increase hit points, lower mobility, and I guess increase your hitbox as well. But actually, does it improve your tackle damage? I actually don't know. I think it improves your damage in general. And there, now that the Strolites have given oxygen to the planet, then yeah, we get to see Gaia again, and yeah, apparently it took us 2 billion years of farming to beat that giant shark. So, yeah, we've moved on to the land age. That's kind of the first act of the game. 1 down. I actually don't remember how many acts there are.